My name is Craig Ferguson. This podcast is called Joy. It's not rocket science. I talk to people I like about their pursuit of happiness. Here's Gabriel Iglesias, one of the most successful comedians on earth. Enjoy. Okay, so I was watching your stadium special last night. I think you might be the only comedian I know who's ever done a stadium. Are you the only one that's done a stadium?
No, Kevin Hart did it. He did it in Philadelphia a few years ago. And I want to say Larry the Cable Guy did one for a special at a college. And there was this comedian, I forget his name. He's a German comic.
Right.
Who's the one? He's the guy that set. He's the one that set the. He set the record. Right. I know. Right. German and
Are you
comedy.
sure he was a comedian? Was he Austrian and was it in Nuremberg? Because that's a completely different. I was like,
yeah. He had everyone was having a great time.
Well, they better have a good time. So
the actual the Guinness Book of World Records biggest comedy show was set by a German many years ago. I want to say it was 67,000.
You're after that record, aren't you?
You know
You're
what?
go after
that would be a great goal.
It
would be a great goal.
I knew you're. See, I think when I watch you, because I'm a comedian as well. I've never played a stadium, but I like to think that I've got some chops a little bit. But I'm watching you in this special, because I'm watching it last night, and I'm thinking you're playing this like it's a club. Like you were just relaxed. It didn't look to me like you were like pumped or anything, which I think is amazing because I know what it's like to get up there and to feel the energy of a crowd and to try and fight against your own tendency to just run around and make a noise. You know, it's like, it was amazing to watch. Did you chant? Do you have a meditation process?
Yeah, that's been a question. Like, what's his routine off stage? Believe it or not, I'm just usually having a conversation like this with somebody, either the tour manager or my buddy Martine or somebody who's right there next to me off stage. We're just chit chatting until either the intro video or the whoever is introduces me. You know what I'm saying?
And then go?
Yeah, so I'm having a conversation. I know a lot of entertainers that like to get in the zone. They light incense. They have to drink something. They have to smoke something. They have to be in a corner. They got to, and I'd rather just have a conversation and just take this.
I find
and
that
then just
quite
keep
interesting.
going up there.
That's almost weird, Gabriel. That's kind of like that because you don't, it's like when the thing in Silence of the Lambs.
Which part?
On Silence of the Lambs, when they're describing Hannibal Lecter and they said they had the pulse meter on him and he bit off a nurse's ear and his pulse didn't change. That's when they knew he was like he was so crazy that he didn't even get adrenal when he was doing it. Is that how crazy you are? You don't even get adrenal?
No, I do get excited. It's just that for that one in particular, I just think that it was a year in the making from the time that we planned it. And once it was there, it was just, it felt very much like a homecoming. It felt like everybody there wants me to do good. I felt like it was a celebration of something bigger than me. It wasn't like I was trying to go out there and kill it. It was like everyone knew what it took to be at that moment, and we were all just celebrating it.
You are a very interesting comic to me as well, I think, because you have no other comedian that I've spoken to has the level of goodwill that you have. Everybody loves you. There's like everybody loves you.
Oh, you can find haters.
No. Well, I guess you can find them because you're a comedian. Do you go looking for them?
I don't go looking for them, but I do read my own social media.
Right.
I run my own social media, so I'm looking at comments and stuff. And people say, "Oh, you got to just brush it off," but it's or not pay attention. But I have to pay attention. That's what makes me me.
Yeah.
So but every now and then there's someone who doesn't like what I do.
Does it get to you? Does it ever get to you? Does it get you down?
It makes me question. Well, what is it that I'm doing? What is I've been in enough therapy sessions to be able to question myself now.
Do you get therapy? I mean, I've had a ton of therapy.
Yeah. I've done it for years, and I think
that's
it's a great
interesting
thing.
because you come across, and I think a lot of your audience think like he's just a guy. He's just a guy who says funny things, but there's no such thing as just a guy who says funny things in a stadium. That's not like a normal guy, and I think that You know, I mean, I know that you are normal in the sense that you're not crazy, but you are a little bit crazy because you're a stand-up comedian. And it's a lot of it is about, for me, I think, everyone I know, and I know a bunch of them, there's an energy and a darkness that goes with it too,
There
right?
is. Yeah, definitely. You have to have something going on with you to wanna get up on stage and
Yeah.
get the laughs and to make people smile and just, there's something there.
What do you think it is with you? Because most people I talk to, and I don't want to lead the witness, but most people I talk to, I think it's in childhood somewhere.
I was about to say, I've always been a big kid. I've always been the last to get chosen for activities. I've always been the unpopular one, a chubby kid, messed up teeth. I had acne.
Chubby and messed up teeth would just make you
That
normal in
you know what?
Scotland. It's like your
But
career
it
would
was
be screwed if you were
all the
Scottish.
things that kept me from being social because people would, kids were cruel. I mean, bullying now is one thing, but back then they added it was physical too.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of that, and I think that once I found comedy was it was my hero, it was my savior, it's what protected me and kept me from feeling all those different
Was
kinds
it
of
a
ways.
conscious thing as a kid? Because I mean, of course, you hear comedians say it was. I used it to protect myself, and I did too. But I didn't. I wasn't aware that I was doing that at the time. I was just like, you just do anything
To
available to protect yourself, right?
comedy for me, I definitely knew that that's what it was doing,
Oh,
and
really?
it made me want to do it more. And I loved it too. I loved the attention. I loved the thrill, the butterflies that you would get right before you'd walk out on stage. You know,
When did you first start doing it?
I was 10 years old.
What?
The first time I tried it, I did a school talent show. I was up on stage doing impressions because I didn't exactly know what comedy was
Yeah.
exactly. I had watched an Eddie Murphy special, and probably not the
Which one? No, it wasn't be
Eddie, it
raw.
doesn't matter which one it is. It
Yeah.
probably wasn't something that a 10-year-old should be
Yeah.
watching, but I love the fact that he was doing the voices and the characters, and that's what I was drawn to. I was drawn to the animated part of it, not so much the foul language or whatever else he was talking about. I was drawn
Right.
to the animated part, and I knew that I had this ability of altering my voice and playing.
Yeah.
And so I got a chance to audition for a school talent show, and they said, "Well, what are you gonna do?" I said, "Well, I do voices," and I didn't know what really how to do comedy, but I knew that I had seen enough of a guy by the name of Rich Little way back in the day. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Impressionist.
He did the White House
Yeah.
Correspondence Dinner the year
Yes.
before I did it.
He was really. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know exactly who you mean because have you done that yet?
No.
So you stay away from
I stay
politics.
away from
Well,
anything
I do
political.
too. I mean I think that's the reason why they asked me. I
Eh,
mean, I try and I used to talk about it a little more than I do now.
uh,
I'm like now it's just crazy. Did you ever talk about it?
in the beginning, I did when it wasn't so taboo. Whereas now, you
Yeah.
sneeze the wrong way, and people are like, "Oh, it's like that."
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know.
you talk about that. Was that in the? It was in one of your specials. You talk about somebody trying to blackmail you, that
But
fake
that's
kind.
all the time, though. I can't even say that that's a one and done. People
No,
are always like, once you have a little bit of success or a lot of success, people want a piece of the pie, and so they'll try to, hey, I got this photo of this, or hey, I saw you doing that, or uh,
are you a party animal? Do you go
I'm
out
not a
and?
party animal. I'm 46 now. I just wanna do my show and go and, hang out with my dogs and grab a soda. Uh, I was more partying in the 20, when I was 20,
Yeah.
20, 25. That was more so,
Did you ever get like I was shocking drunk when I was in my 20s. I had to get sober.
I would drink a lot.
Yeah.
I would drink a lot, yeah.
Did
A lot.
it get out of hand for you think?
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Ah, see, I knew I liked you.
I'm sure there are photos, but you know what? It was a different time. It
I
was a
feel
different
that a
time.
little bit. I feel sorry for a lot of the youngsters today because like if there were cell phones around when I was drinking, I mean the level of embarrassment and shame that they could.
You had time to prepare if somebody was gonna take a photo. It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
shoot, look at him, he's getting drunk, hold on." And then
Or the guy puts the black thing over his
Yeah.
head and and you're upside
Hold
down
still.
and you have to stay still. And then the flash goes off. Gotcha. So that darkness then that we
Oh,
were
but to
talking.
answer your question from earlier,
Oh, right,
doing the
okay.
voices and the characters and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
I went up on stage and I realized that I had something going there. Because that night when I went up there and I was doing impressions of Pee Wee Herman, who at the time was, he was still Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, that's right. He
Pee Wee
got
Herman, Ronald
yeah.
Reagan, Popeye, Mickey Mouse. These were the characters I was doing when I was 10 years old.
Right.
And the crowd reacted to it and they're like, wow, look at him. And I had a
Yeah.
microphone and it was loud and I could actually hear myself. It was the first time I worked with the microphone. And it even with me, I was like, oh, wow, I'm onto something. And then I did the talent show again the following year. And then I went, I don't know, like, 10 years without, no, 7 years before I was in high school. I got in the speech team. And that's where I got the courage to get up in front of class. And I just started doing that every single day, getting up in front of the class until eventually I was just super comfortable in front of people. And
Did
then
you,
once I
was it a
started
good
doing
school you went to?
Oh, it was a shit school.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of because I graduated from it, Long Beach Wilson, what's up? But there are many better schools, a lot better schools. But that's
Was it a violent environment?
during that time, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there was always school fights and riots in the, in the
Yeah.
quad and stuff like that.
It's a
but
lot of comedians I know, particularly of
I avoided them though. I
yeah,
wasn't
well,
in the mix.
sure, yeah.
The school mosh pit.
But that I think, because I think of you as a, I mean, if you were a British comedian, I'd say you were a working class comedian. Do you know what I mean? It's like I feel like you're. I mean, this is a compliment, by the way. This is you're like a blue collar guy. You're from a working class environment, even to the extent you still
No
live.
silver spoon for sure.
Right.
My mom and I. It was just my mom and I. No dad in the picture. Section 8 housing, public housing. We were on welfare, which is the WIC of today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you? You think that's part of it? My wife has a theory that all stand-up comedians have the same mother.
Oh, she was very strong, very
Yeah.
loud, very opinionated. Did not think I was a good comedian. She didn't think I was funny. Period.
Yeah. See that? That's
But
exactly.
but that,
That's my mom.
But I didn't need a fan. I needed a mom.
Right, I get it, but it's an interesting thing because I think you take a personality of a kid. If you're like a chubby little kid who's afraid, because that's exactly what I was. When I was a kid, I was afraid, and you start being funny, and you don't even know you're funny, but you know that they're not hitting you if you can divert their attention. Right? It is a kind of odd darkness, and then you get into drinking. Were you ever into drug taking?
Nah, not really. I'm
Yeah.
more of an Advil PM kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't go for it because I always liked cocaine. I always thought was a good vitamin to help you drink more. I never thought it was a drug. I just thought it was like a drinker's vitamin, like a kind of like the way the kids use Red Bull.
It's
now.
it's dry Red Bull.
You never got into it though, because there's I think particularly, if you grow up in LA has a real culture of, you get drawn into all that as a young person.
There was a lot of it around. There was a
So
lot
how did
of
you
it around.
avoid it?
You know what's crazy is that I always heard stories where big guys usually did not handle cocaine well.
Right.
It was always you know what, if you're big and you do blow, then you're gonna die. You're gonna have a
Yeah.
heart attack and die because big guys can't hang. And so that alone was more than enough to keep me scared straight. Where I'm like, no, I'm big. I can't be doing that. I'll have a drink.
So you didn't have a self-destruct thing. It was just like to get messed up, but it wasn't to destroy yourself. Right?
No, but also too, I mean, I worked a lot. I really focused and I was so excited about doing stand-up where that's what I wanted to do. It wasn't the party after that I was after. It was actually the stage.
Yeah.
So, I was just trying like, okay, where can I find another stage? Where can I go up? This is before social media. So you actually had to go and hang out with people. And like you're at Denny's at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with other comics. Some
Oh,
are
yeah,
drunk,
I remember
some
all
are on
that.
something else. Some are
Yeah.
just there to do exactly what you're there to do.
Yeah.
And that was your social circle. And you kind of built off of that. You'd save. Hey, can I get so and so's number? Can I call him? Do you know if he's booking? Where can I send a tape? This is all stuff that you had to do back then.
Who
So
did
there
you
was
hang
a
with back then?
lot of homework. You would know any of these guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was a
So when
small
did you
group.
start? When did you start moving up? Do you think? When did you start working?
I
for
was
you?
very fortunate that I caught lightning in a bottle really quick. So April 10th, 1997 is my first official start date where I called myself a comic.
Right.
I was in Long Beach, which is where I live now still. And
Yeah, I know, because you drove here today in LA and it was raining, and I was like, I
I
can't
know
believe you didn't cancel.
the fact that it
I
was
would have
raining,
canceled. I nearly canceled, and I'm like 5 minutes from here.
and I felt bad because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be late. I'm
No,
still coming,
see,
but I'm gonna be late.
I think
It's
that's
like
a
I
working
sailed
class.
here.
That's your mom did that. That's your mom did that.
I sailed here.
You have to get there. If your mom was Scottish, that's what you have to get there. Who do you think you are? Do you know Jay Leno told me this thing? That when he took over the Tonight Show, it used to say the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he took over, it said the Tonight Show starring Jay Leno. And he told his mom, and his mom said, oh, his mom was Scottish. She said, oh, the Tonight Show starring Jay Leno. Starring Jay Leno, is it? Who do you think you are? So he had to change it to the Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Because his mom.
He was frightened of his mom. He was on the cover of Time magazine and in Boston, where he grew up, and his mom said, it's probably just the local Time magazine. He said, Mom, it's the local Time magazine. See, I think moms of comedians are kind of like that. They're kind of...
They're the humblers.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah, there was no time where I could brag around my mom.
Is your mom still around?
No, unfortunately not. She's been gone 10 years now, but I know that anytime I say something out loud that kind of like, I could hear my mom already, like how she would have reacted to that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel that from actually
watching. Oh, okay. Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's exactly what my mother did.
Yeah.
I wonder, because you're quite open. Well, I say that. I don't know if you're open. You talk about your family in your act. You talk about your son in your act. Whenever I talked about my kids, they don't like it, man. They stop me doing it. They're like, nope, that's not.
That's
okay.
where I'm at right now.
Oh, really?
Is
he saying it to you? You got to stop it.
It took a minute. He didn't say I have to stop, but he made it clear that he didn't appreciate it, and I didn't want to keep doing it if it was going to bother him, because I don't want the resentment and want him getting. For me, I just saw it as my form of parenting, because I'm like, before shaming was a thing. Yeah. That's how you parent. You make fun of them. You embarrass them. You embarrass your kids so that they wouldn't do it. And I figured embarrassing them was better than spanking them.
Yeah,
It's better than yelling at them. Hey, look, I'm just going to make you feel stupid, and hopefully you don't do that again.
Well, it's an interesting thing, because doing that now, like people, because I agree with you. It's like somebody makes you feel dumb about doing something, you're less likely to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's done from a loving position, then that's fine. But I think the problem that, I don't know, I think people are having with the younger generation right now is maybe that they don't handle any kind of contrary opinion very well. I don't think it's anything to do with woke. I think decent people have always been decent people. But I think the idea of, I should have a hassle-free life. You go, really? Have you ever been on the 405? Because there's no such thing as a hassle-free life. It's like you're going to get hassled. It's just one of those things. I mean, you should get trained for it a little bit. What age is your boy now?
25.
Yeah, it's time to stop. He'll hit you if you don't stop.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, when he was growing up, now you were with his mom?
Yes. I got him when he was 7.
So he's a stepson?
Yes.
Okay.
My mom would call him aftermarket.
Yeah. I don't hold with that. I think love is love and family is family, and I don't buy into that kind of half brother, step sister, all that. It's like, it's a way of kind of fine tuning the description, right. But that's all it is.
But my mom was pretty hardcore and set against me having any type of relationship with anyone that already had a what did she say? What did she call it? She said, "Oh, that girl you're dating, she has a pre-existing condition." I go, "Mom, it's not a medical thing. She's got a kid. What's the big deal?" She goes, "You need to have one of your own." And I'm like, "Mom, it's fine."
That's an interesting thing that your mom, did your mom ever come around to it? Was she all right in the end?
You know what? She was not really. She was just cool, like okay, fine. But she wasn't going out of her way to be like, "Hey, come here. Hey, let me,"
Yeah.
It was more so just like, "All right, he's here. Cool. Hello." You know what I mean? It was.
That's interesting.
And trying to get my mom to change, that was a mission in itself. And I think just, again, we're in that time now where now we're that person.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, so.
She lived long enough to see you get very successful,
yes.
Though, right? So which must have kind of freaked her out a little bit, you think?
I don't know. I honestly don't know because, I mean, I was working so much and she didn't exactly, like, watch me on television or anything like that. She knew I was always working because, we would talk daily. Like,
Right.
"Where are you at now? Where are you at now? When you coming home? I'm hungry. Take me to eat." So she wanted to know when I was like, go and pick her up and take her to eat and tell her about my week and stuff like that. But, um, I don't think that she knew that it was gonna get to where it is now.
It's
You know,
pretty. I
in the
mean,
last
not
10,
many people go to where you are now, though. I mean, it's kind of like stratospheric at this point. What do you think? Where do you see it going comedically? I mean, there is. I talked to you about the idea of going after that German guy's record for the biggest comedian show ever, and maybe that. But is that it, or are you happy? Are you still happy playing, a club with 200 people in it?
I'm very happy with being able to like, I was at the, Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio this past weekend, and the room seats maybe 250, 300, and I was having a great time. I loved it. It's you're right there with the people, but don't get me wrong, I love being, goal driven. So having something to work towards, how can you outdo yourself? Because, a lot of times I think that people get into the competition of, "Oh, what's that guy doing? What's that guy doing? What's that guy doing?" Whereas I find myself like, all right, how can I outdo what I did last time
Right.
versus trying to figure out, oh, this person's doing this person's doing that. That's why it's like, people kept saying you should do a podcast, but I'm like, that's not me though. Or
Yeah,
you
it's not
should
me
you
either,
should do
but
this kind of show.
you got to at a
That's
certain point.
you know,
Yeah, I think it goes with your driver's license. If you want to have or avoid getting audited by the tax man or something, you have to do it. You have to do a
you
podcast.
know. But as far as what's the next goal, I think it would be awesome because I honestly I contemplated retiring at Dodger Stadium. I thought about
No.
retiring because of the fact that I'm like, can I can I outdo this? Is this the biggest thing I'm ever gonna do? And if it is, what better way to, hey, thank you, good night.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't. I don't think you should do that. Look, I'm not a therapist, but I think that would be a bad idea
I
for
think I would
you. I
miss
think
it. I think
not
I'd
only
miss it
you'd
too
miss it, I
much.
think it would turn on you. I think that. I mean, look, I don't have to be an expert in the human condition to watch you do stand up and go, that guy has got demons. That's the only way you get up there. You don't get up there just, he's just a guy who goes to
It's
Red
indigestion.
Lobster. He goes to Red Lobster with his kid and they have a nice time. You go, yeah, he does do that, but there's got to be some dark in that fuel. There's got to be some. I think it would turn on you. The thing I think I'm going to say something to you. This is not by way of advice, but it's an observation that I watched. I spent a long time. I was talking to some guys earlier about this. I worked with Mick Jagger for a little while, writing a screenplay. And so I was on tour with the Rolling Stones, and I watched Keith Richards. Keith Richards is just as happy with the Rolling Stones being that band as he would be if he was in a shit band playing in a pub in North London. As long as he's playing the guitar, he doesn't really care. Nothing else really matters. And I think you have a little bit of that. That as
Mm.
long as you're doing the show, like you said, you just like to get up there. You want to get up there. I think if you were not doing that, I think it would come get you. I think you'd find a way to get nasty.
Something would happen.
Yeah.
I guess with me the problem is that I'm afraid of all the work that I've put in over these years because this is year 26 now for me, and I'd be afraid of like getting to a certain point and then because it's not every day you could say you saw your peak.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the peak. I don't know if it is. I mean, it's the highest point I've reached so far.
Right.
Um, but
But is it all about professionalism? Are there ambitions personally? Would you like to sail around the world? Would you like to, get ripped and climb Mount Everest? Is there other goals outside of performance?
outside of performance, I mean, I've done a lot of traveling, been a lot of places, seen a lot of things.
Yeah, but I
The
bet you were
only
always doing a show.
oh, no, it was always around a show.
All right.
I've never taken a vacation just to take a vacation. And that
Yeah.
that blows people away too, that,
No, I get it. I
I do
understand.
not go anywhere. Like,
All right.
for me, I don't see a vacation as a vacation. That I'm doing all the things I don't like doing about comedy without the comedy.
Yeah.
So what? I got to get on a plane. I got to go to the airport. I got to get on some shuttle bus. I got to check into a hotel. I got to worry about bed bugs. I got to worry about, what's,
Yeah, you all of that, and you don't
is
get
there
paid.
somewhere to eat? What's going to be the situation once we get there?
How are you flying in airplanes?
I'm fine.
Yeah? Does it bother
I
you?
usually we fly private.
Right.
We fly private, but mostly it's for my dogs. I travel with my dogs, and so they keep me happy. It's my 2 Chihuahuas. They go anywhere. They go everywhere. But yeah, I usually fly with them, and if they're not going with me, I'll fly commercial.
Right, but you don't have any, like, fear of flying thing or
No,
anything like that? That's interesting
no,
because
no, no.
I feel like I wanna try and find out what's kinda making you tick, and I think you kind of you're eluding me, not on purpose, I just can't put my finger on it, which I think is
Oh,
fantastic.
nice.
No, I think it's great. I mean, I'm
gonna break him down. I'm gonna break him down
no,
right now.
I don't feel
It's
broken
fluffy.
down. I feel kind of, I'm quite intrigued by it because I think you're a very singular human being. I think that you must be very strong emotionally. Are you? Do you think? Do you set boundaries with other
I think it all
people?
depends. Um, uh, Setting boundaries. I think the boundaries are only as good as the person who you're trying to set them with.
Really?
Some
You
people, some
sure?
people,
Because I think some people like need stricter kind of information.
you could tell them, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people are just going to do whatever they want to do, and then so you
Right.
got to be selective about who you surround yourself with.
And
'Cause
you're careful?
I try to be, but there's some people that have, I guess, been grandfathered in because they've been around so long, and
Yeah.
you just know, like, don't talk about this around this person, don't bring up that, and
that
start the stopwatch.
That's an age thing, I think, because I've got that too. Because like young people is like if they don't agree, they're not friends. I'm like, hey, I have friends who are like awful. I mean, but what am I going to do? It's my friend, It's like, that guy's a racist. I go, he is. He's a terrible racist. But what am I going to do? He's my friend. It's like that thing, like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry said, there's a racist in the royal family. And I'm like,
No.
yeah, it's a family. If you don't know who the racist is in your family, it's because it's you. No, you're the racist.
You're the
It's crazy. It's like grandpa's going to make a speech. No, he is not going to make a speech. No. I mean, do you find, because you're Mexican heritage, right?
Yes.
Have you encountered, I can't, I don't know. Have you encountered prejudice from any angle because of that, do you think?
Yes, but I think a lot of times it's like, am I overthinking it? Am I looking into it more? Am I looking for it? Versus, is there something that's clearly like, am I clearly being held back or being challenged or being, made to feel less than?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've gone to some places where, stereotypically it would not go well.
Right.
And it does. And I think that, for example, there's been some shows that we've done where I'm doing meet and greets afterwards, and there's people coming up and they've got Confederate flags on the T-shirts and the tattoos, and
Yeah.
you could tell that they might have said a racial slur or two in their day,
Yeah.
but for some reason around me, it's weird to, like, you think you're gonna get one thing, and then it's like, I'll have people say things like, uh, "We were eating at a Mexican restaurant before we came to see you because we knew we were coming to see you, so we wanted to go eat some tacos and drink some Mexican soda before we came to see you." And part of me wants to go, what the hell does that even mean? But it's like, when you hear what they're saying, it's like they're trying to find a way to connect and be close, even though the way that they're saying what they're saying is just like, come on. And so you want to get offended, but you realize sometimes people don't know any better.
Right.
They have the best of intentions, but they don't know how to convey it. And so you're like, all right, okay. Or I'll get people, hola, I'm a big fan of yours. I want to be your amigo. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh, like, okay, you are a fan clearly, but your approach is just,
I can very much relate. People come up to me and go, "Oh, Shrek, farty donkey, all right."
Oh, yeah, see?
It's like, why?
Really?
Please don't do that. You're making me feel weird. It's like I don't know Shrek. All right, I do know Shrek, but we don't get along. All right. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes, I do.
Do you do gigs in Mexico?
I recently performed in Mexico, but I don't perform in Spanish.
All right.
It loses a lot in the translation, and then depending on what part of Latin America you're in, the slang it's very different.
Right. Are you interested in it? Because, Eddie Izzard's a friend of mine, and she performs in lots of different languages. Like, Eddie will go to France and not even speak French, and then learn the act phonetically, and then perform it as an experiment.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But I think you have a little bit of that in the sense of, because you work with the sound. Like, the amount of voices you do in a show is crazy. Like, the different, like, you can do my voice. I heard you do it. In that sitcom that you did for Netflix, you did a Scottish accent, and I went, that's actually not bad. And nobody can do a Scottish accent, and you can do it. And I think you have that phonetic thing, doesn't it? I think you should try the Spanish. I think you should try a gig in Spanish.
You know what I've done? I've performed in Spanish for 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And so in my head, I translated it and trying to, all right, here we go.
Right.
And it went okay. I've opened up for Mexican Spanish speaking comics. We actually made it a challenge where I opened up for a comic by the name of Franco Escamilla, who's massive in Spanish.
Right.
And I challenged him. All right, now you got to open for me 15 minutes in English.
Did he do it?
We both did it, and we both agreed that we should never do that again. It was a horrible idea. Mala idea.
No, I don't know, man. I'd have loved to have seen it.
It was cool to say that we tried it, and I'm like, okay. Because the show that I opened for him in Mexico City at the Arena, he was taping a Netflix special, and I went out there, and it was just like, wow. Like, it was, because I had to really think about what I was saying.
Right.
And that was messing with me. And then I had him open for me at Staples Center when it was still Staples Center. And again, he was back there and he's just sweating bullets. And, he's talking to me and he's like, oh my God, oh my goodness. That's how it was.
But I think it's fascinating
but the fact that Eddie can do that, I think is incredible.
But I think it's something to do with maybe a musician's brain. Are you a musician?
My whole family, they're all singers, songwriters, and priest. It's the weirdest combination of
No, that to me is like, that's the recipe for a stand-up. A priest and a musician mixed together. That's
on my father's side. It's priest. There's priest and mariachis. So
no, wait a minute. If there's a priest on your,
I know. You see,
isn't there a problem?
That's why I usually just say mariachi and kind of just, and whatever everybody else do, they're just, they're spiritual.
Right. But that is, so there's the spiritual side. And are you a musician though? Do you play anything?
No, I don't. No, I'll get drunk and do karaoke, and that's the extent of it.
You still get drunk?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. It doesn't get in the way
of what?
I don't know. Life. I mean, for me, I can't get drunk, or I'm like, things get arresty. Or I just hate myself.
I hate the next day when you're dealing with a hangover, or if you have a flight, or if you have to be functional.
Right.
That's when it's like, oh.
Yeah. For me, that next day is kind of about 3 months. So
I remember being on the road, having a good time, and then no big deal. Wake up the next morning, go to the airport. It was all good, and then as soon as I hit 40, that stopped. Now,
do you worry about health? Because you're a big guy. Do you worry about it?
Yes. And back to that question about setting goals and stuff like that, traveling or whatever it is. My goal has always been, if I could just, do this, would be to lose weight. I'd be lying if I didn't say that the
really
weight loss
hard.
thing.
It's really hard. I mean, I struggle with it, and I really do. I struggle with it all the time, and I get crazy about it sometimes. How do you approach it, trying to lose weight?
Well, clearly I haven't.
I don't know, man. You look like you dropped some.
I mean, this is not my heaviest. I was actually from right now. I was 100 pounds heavier.
What?
Yeah. Oh, I filled in the couch.
That's crazy. Well, congratulations on that. That's an incredible feat.
There was a point in time where comedian, rest in peace, Ralphie May, and I were very close.
I remember
Ralphie.
In weight. Yeah,
we were very
lovely.
close.
Yeah.
But yeah, during COVID, I had an opportunity to get a trainer, and then I'm diabetic, so I went to go see a doctor, and I got put on some good medication to
Right.
control that, and that helped out. So that automatically, without even really, having to do much, the weight just started coming off.
Because
Plus, I
the
wasn't eating out every night
Yeah, because of
because we
COVID.
were
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
I had
that's
to
right.
cook. That
Did you get
sucks.
it? Did you get COVID?
Yes, I got COVID one time. I know
Yeah.
people that got it 4, which I think is insane.
I've had it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, well, not counting now because I feel like I might be I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Like,
No, 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 no. No, I feel a bit monkeypoxy, but I'm okay COVID-wise. I'm fine. I've just been checked. It's fine. But I don't know. I mean, do you wanna drop more?
I do. And not so much for like, oh, I want to look better, but I'd rather, I'm coming up on the age now where it's like, yeah, I might want to start, you
Yeah,
know.
no, you gotta think about it for sure.
So
It's a thing.
that's more so the thing. Like, okay, I just, to feel better.
Right. So what do you do about it? Do you fast? Do you like on Gwyneth Paltrow's bone soup or something?
Nice. I haven't done anything yet to make that change. I think I got to get it right here first, and then I can do it
Yeah. It's
because I don't want to
hard.
just start and then be like, all right, that didn't work out, and then just feel like I failed.
I think for goal-orientated people like you, I think weight loss is even harder because you try and make a goal for it. And people say, make a goal, and I don't see it like that. I think it should be like it's today. Today is the goal.
I get a lot
So
of people that say, "Oh, it's a lifestyle change.
yeah,
It's
I
a
don't know
change of
about it.
lifestyle." Like, is it a diet or am I, what do you
Uh,
mean lifestyle?
no, it's just today. It's like, you know what? Am I gonna have a candy bar now or not? All right, I won't have it now. That's it. That's all I mean, that's why I had to do to stop drinking.
Mm.
Because the idea, even now, I haven't had a drink in 31 years, but the idea of not ever drinking again, I'm not prepared to make that commitment. I just like I'm not gonna have one today. Then
And that
they
is
add
very
up.
impressive because I'm sure you've been put in a lot of situations where the alcohol was right in front of you,
I
and
live in
it's like,
Scotland, man.
well,
It's
yeah,
like
you
you
open the
living in
window.
Red
You open the
Lobster.
window.
It's like it's right
There you
there.
go, buddy.
Yeah, right. You'll have something to drink. No, I don't want it. No, come on. But have you ever played Scotland?
No, I haven't, but actually,
You
I will
should.
be playing it very soon.
Really?
Yes, it'll be the first time. I know I'm doing the UK. I'm doing London, and I'm gonna be doing.
Glasgow, Edinburgh. It will be one of those
It's gonna be
two.
one of them. I know it's
Yeah.
coming up.
It might be both. It might be
I know
both.
it's coming up.
I want to come see you. I want to come see you in front of a Scottish crowd. They'll eat you up. They'll love you. You'll kill over there. I
I've
really
heard of
think.
all the festivals and all the comedy shows that have happened there, and I'm just like, how have I not gone?
Well, I think because you were successful enough, you didn't have to. I mean, the Edinburgh Festival is about really for a lot of people, it's about getting started. So if you're doing well in the United States, you don't. It wouldn't be on your radar. But if you were an up and coming comic in the UK,
But it would
it
be
would.
more so like to just get my foot in the door and at least, like, all right, for example, like with Montreal. Montreal was always
Yeah,
like,
the Just for Laughs
yeah,
festival. Yeah. You've done that, right?
yes, multiple times. And
Right.
so it's like, even now where it's like, I don't have to, but I like going because then I can catch up with a lot of comics I haven't seen in a long time.
That I do the same
And
thing.
so
It's
it's
the
more
first
of
place
like, hey, it's a reunion.
So who do you hang with? Who do you like and who do you rate in the comedy world now? Who do you like seeing do stand up?
You know what? My favorite comedians are comics who don't do what I do, which is basically like comics that get very controversial, political, comics that touch on topics that like
Yeah,
I've intentionally avoided in order to maintain
it's a
the
stylistic
brand.
choice. I
Yeah.
mean, Gaffigan's like that as well. Jim Gaffigan, who I don't know if you know Jim, but
Mhm.
Jim is like he's as cranky and cussy as any other comedian you know. But he
He
said, "I
keeps the
made us."
show.
He keeps his show totally clean. He keeps it, family friendly. Leno is the same. I
Mm.
mean, Leno can cuss like a sailor. Anytime you.
Oh, I've seen someone scratch one of his cars. He can cuss.
Yeah, oh yeah. But he doesn't do that in his act. He
No,
keeps
he
it.
keeps it
I
friendly.
wish I could. I keep trying, and then it just one or two slip out every time.
I remember I was talking to Jim Jeffries is one of my favorites. Bill
He's
Burr,
a terrific
Jim Jeffries,
comic,
Bill
yeah.
Burr, Tom Segura,
These are all great guys.
Chappelle. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
love these performers. They're incredible. I was doing Jim Jeffries show, And after the show was over, we're in the bathroom and we're just standing there. I go, Chip, can I just tell you something, man? I go, I envy your freedom on stage to say anything you want and feel good about it. He looks at me and he goes, I envy your money. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Touche, my friend. All right.
Do you ever think about doing a show where you could just unleash?
From
like
time
that?
to time, I will, I won't keep it as squeaky clean as, let's say, Jim Gaffigan would, but
Right.
in my set, I will. I do cuss in my show. I mean, I'll do a show.
Yeah, it doesn't come across like you're doing a clean show. It just
But it's not every other word. There's some
Right.
comics that it's like a tick. It's just it comes out every 2 seconds. But
right.
I'm very selective. So if I'm telling a story where there's a big statement to be made and I insert it there, then
Right.
it's like, okay,
Right.
did
Use it for what it's for.
and it's impactful. It's like,
Right.
oh, he doesn't use that a lot. He dropped his F-bomb card,
Right.
but it's not, it's
No,
not
I
repeated.
think you're right because then it's got some power.
It-
If you
yeah.
use it all the time, it hasn't got any power. Do you ever go and see comics? Like I know some people like hang out in the Comedy Store. I've never been able to hang like that. I can't really do it. You hang with other comedians?
You know what? The Comedy Store is one of those places that, in the beginning, I always felt like it was super cliquey, and
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I fit in.
Right.
There was always these groups of comics, and I just like, should I? It felt really off.
Yeah, it's scary. It's like high school,
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
I
Thank you.
hated it. Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you. I got a chance to perform there recently, and I had a great time. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, because you're one
Uh,
of the biggest comics in the fucking
but-
world. That's why. Like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Let him kiss your ass."
It's different.
now."
It was different now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I was never one to hang out. I didn't want to hang out at the club. I wanted to just go in, do my thing. If there was somebody that I enjoyed watching, I'd watch them. But then let me just leave to not get caught up in things.
Yeah, I think that's very smart because I think also it's very stand-up comedian, to be honest, because I think they are solitary animals. We're kind of lone predators, really. And then the idea of that we'd all be, it's when people say the Hollywood community is full of evil, twisted people. I'm like, have you ever been to Hollywood? There's no fucking community in show business. Are you kidding? All these people
Everybody's
are
out for themselves.
Out for themselves. Like, oh yeah, we all get together and make a decision. No, we don't. There's no uniformity of thought here, I don't think.
Mm.
Where would you go to live? Because you still live down in the old neighborhood, right?
Yeah, I still live in Long Beach. I live literally 4 minutes away from where I basically, grew up. I live very close to my old neighborhood.
Is that manageable? Because you got to be highly recognizable down there, and people getting. Well, I guess it's LA. You're in your car a lot.
You know what? I'm close to where I used to live, but it's not where I used to live.
I
So
hear
it's
ya.
very,
Yeah,
it's
no, I
different.
understand,
And
yeah.
I think if people know where you're at, that's one thing. People do see me driving around,
Right.
and I frequent the same, Starbucks or wherever, I'm going. It's like, like, hey, it's him.
Do you ever get uncomfortable with that? Because it's like every time you go out, especially now with the way phones are, you're on. It's like any mistake you make, any little bit of road rage, any picking your nose in the car, any passing gas in the starting line at Starbucks. I'm not saying I've ever done that, but I might have. Everybody's gonna record you.
We got good days and we have bad days. If I'm not feeling good, I try not to go out, but it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna have a moment of weakness where I'm getting upset over the way someone's driving or somebody messing with you at the, because I have people that will mess with me intentionally at the drive-through, and I'm trying to maintain, and it's hard sometimes because
Yeah.
people want to challenge you. They want to get a rise out of you.
Well, yeah, because
And they're
that's-
holding your food hostage. I'm
Right,
like, I
I-
already paid for this. Can I just get my thing? Say hi to my sister. Say hi to my sister, man. She's your biggest fan.
They're
Like, hi,
like, "Give me-
sister.
give me the
Your,
food."
your brother has my food, and if I don't say hi, he's not gonna give me my food. Hey, man, throw in some ranch while I'm
That
talking to
is-
your sister.
that is
So
so
then it's like
fucking messed
now
up.
it's like a negotiation. Like I'm
oh no,
trying to negotiate to get my food. So I gotta.
Don't you have staff? You should have staff.
But see, that's the thing though, is that I don't want to have to rely on staying in my own little box and sending people out to the real world to go get me things. Then that feels like I'm disconnected. I'd rather go out there, and if nothing else, it'll be a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
guess.
I'd rather I still want to live. The only time I get concerned is if I have my dogs with me, which is most of the time, and
Right.
people.
Do you have your dogs with you today?
I was gonna bring them.
Yeah,
I
man.
was gonna bring them. They've been on a lot of TV shows.
Yep.
Um,
So you have Chihuahuas?
yes,
I
yes,
have
do.
German Shepherds. I think they should.
you have real dogs.
They're pretty good actually.
You can't put them in your hoodie.
You can't put them in.
I can put my dogs in my hoodie.
But you can actually you could send a German Shepherd out to buy you a hoodie.
Nice.
It's like, yes, okay, which color would you like? I shall return presently with the correct change.
I love that you gave that dog the accent.
It's German. What accent do you?
I don't know.
You don't have a. Come on, you have a voice for everything. You got to have a voice for your dog.
Yeah, I do.
You don't have to share it with me. I don't want to.
No, but it's not.
I don't
like,
want to be the guy holding your.
Yeah,
food
you're
at
holding
the
my food right now.
drive-thru.
No, I have. I'll do the little like I go. The hey, daddy, I want this or that. But they don't have like accent like, "Ore, papa, why don't you put me in your hoodie?"
Right.
It's not like.
Yeah, no,
I didn't make my dogs.
I feel bad.
Over
Now. I feel
Mexican.
like I forced you into
Over
that. I'm
Mexican, my
sorry.
dogs.
No, what Chihuahuas are? What they're Mexican dogs, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have them growing up?
From the age of 12 until now, I've always had a Chihuahua.
How long did Chihuahuas live?
You know what? Small dogs live a long time.
Yeah, they go for a while.
They
huh?
live a long time. I had one Chihuahua that lived to be almost 19.
Wow.
My oldest right now, she's right around 17.
Okay.
And the other one's 12.
Okay. So like German Shepherds, 12. That's kind of
The bigger the dog.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I won't have I like big dogs, but you can't. You got they just break your heart. So I have 2 German Shepherds and a Jack Russell.
Okay.
Which is
Very different.
It's like an Irish Chihuahua.
Nice.
Like, what the fuck are you looking at? You fucking bastard. The fucking Chihuahua, yours it. But they are crazy. Are your dogs aggressive?
They're aggressive whenever someone comes near me. If someone approaches me like quick, like
Yeah.
hey, that's why any of the oh my god, that they react to.
So
to
that's
that.
why you keep them in your hoodie.
In the hoodie or
Yeah.
in the car and stuff like that. So whenever somebody approaches the car, I'm concerned more so for my dogs, not so much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't travel
I'm
with
not-
security or anything like that? Maybe on the road, right?
It depends on where I'm at. When I was in Mexico City performing, I had 4 armed guards, which I thought was excessive. But
Well,
they're like,
things can get a
they're
little
like-
kidnappy down there sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
you
if
know.
you're a high-profile
they can
individual.
get you here too, though.
Yes, they can. It's not like a kidnapper can't say, let's not talk about this. It's freaking me out. I don't know why I even brought this up.
You know?
I'm fucking talking about kidnapping now. I'm worried about kidnappers.
I had a break-in in December. They broke into my house, and I thought my place was like solid.
I would fucking move. If someone broke into my house, I'd fucking leave.
It was-
or shoot them or leave.
And it's one of those things where people say, "Oh, well, what did they take?" I go, "They took my peace of mind, is what they took."
Yeah, I'll bet.
You know, I had I still have it, giant fence that surrounds the property, multiple camera systems,
Yeah.
a security system,
2 Chihuahuas.
and still, I'm lucky that they weren't home.
Yeah.
I had them with me, so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, just look at the
Oh,
bright
my
side.
God. Do you
But as far as traveling with security, it depends on. I don't think that I need an actual like team of people, but it's always good to have somebody there to just be the go between. Where like if a bunch of people approach, hey, okay, I'll take a picture. Can you get them all in line? Like, folks, please get together, form a line. He'll be happy to take a photo.
right.
Keep the peace. You know what I mean? Before
Yeah.
it gets chaotic. Because if I get people coming at me from every angle, and then again, if I have my dogs with me, I'm only worried about my dogs.
Are you romantically involved right now? I mean, I'm not going to.
No. I was in a relationship for almost 13 years. I'm still good friends with my ex, but
right.
um,
How long ago did that end?
it's been a few years now, about
Yeah.
4 or 5.
That's time, man.
So
Yeah, it's time. Get out there.
We're cool.
Yeah.
But,
no, I mean, it's time. It's time you get out.
Oh, start going out.
Yeah.
I've gone out a
I
couple
got a nice
times.
girl for you in Scotland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've gone out on a few dates, and it's just like, okay. And I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm going to go home and set my thermostat to whatever temperature I want. And I'm going to play with my dogs. I'm going to fart and just call it a night because
You-
I can.
You can do that when you're married too. To
Ah.
a little bit. Yeah. No, I hear
I don't
you.
want to be obligated to do things that don't make me feel like a better person.
Why the fuck should you get away with it?
You know,
We all have to
I'm
do it.
just making up my mind that I don't think I want to. I don't want to do the relationship thing anymore. It's just
Okay.
I'm okay.
That
You know,
is fine.
at
That's
first
good.
when I first broke up, oh man, I was just like, I want someone. I need to. I've never been alone,
Right.
and you know, it took some time to get used to that and appreciate it. And
Do you have a space, do you think, in your life if someone blows your mind to come in like
I'm
that?
not gonna say never or
Right.
no, but I haven't met that. You know, that hasn't happened yet.
Right. Uh,
And it has to be somebody that's on board with what I do. You know
Well, I
what I
think it's
mean?
gonna be fair, anyone who meets you is gonna know what you do. It's not like you go, "And so what do you do, Gabriel? Do you have a where do you work?"
But, you
Like,
know,
they're gonna
even
know.
in the past, you know, when I've been doing this now 26 years, so I've had a couple relationships where they knew what I did, and I tried to explain, "Hey, look, you think it's cool and it's fun right now, but it's gonna get crazier.
Yeah.
There's gonna be I'm gonna be working more, there's gonna be more opportunities, and I don't wanna say no to potential opportunities because you know, you're gonna miss me or this or that," you know?
Right.
"No, no, no, no,
I
I
think
get it,
that's
I get it."
right, yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, it got to a point where there was a lot of resentment. I remember I had gotten a deal with Netflix for a sitcom, and when I told her about it, she goes, "Well, I'm happy for you, but I'm not happy for us."
Well, why?
She says, "Because that's just more time, that you're away." And
Uh,
I'm just like, "Alright." So now I'm feeling bad for
Bad about getting a sitcom
getting a
deal?
sitcom deal.
Yeah, that's not so good.
And so it's like,
Yeah.
you know?
See, my wife, if I said I got a deal with Netflix, she'd say, "How much is it?" And I'd tell her, she'd go, "That's so great. I'm so proud of you." So, there are people out there that are, gonna be very cool with you getting a
But then
Netflix
too,
deal.
I don't know who to trust, you know, because
That's a
they're meeting this
tragedy.
one
Yeah,
right here
yeah.
versus,
But that's who
like,
you are,
trying to be a
man.
mystery.
But it's who you are. Like, I remember once when I was I can't remember, I was dating some girl years and years and years. I've been married forever. But years ago, and somebody said to me, "She's just going out with you because of who you are." And I'm like, "But that's who I am." Well, so of course she's going. Well, I don't want her to go out with me because I'm somebody else. So I don't think it's not that big a deal. What if you find like a female comedian that
Ooh. Oh, God, no.
no.
God, no. Oh.
Why? Because then she would understand
Mm-mm.
the game and you know no? Okay, man, I'm sorry.
No, man, I don't be sitting there at the dinner table and she's trying to tag my shit. I'm like, "Nah, no, 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 we're good. We're
Oh,
good."
I
You
feel
know,
awful
if you
now.
said that, ugh.
I feel bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, but I do think you seem to me like I don't know you very well. We've talked a couple of times, but you seem to me and you come across as a very warm, loving, sensible human being. Um, and maybe that's what human beings are like when they're not in relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fair. I don't know. I do remember I talking to. Do you know the Broadway performer Kristen Chenoweth?
I know the name.
She's very talented, big star on Broadway, and I remember her talking about she was, very committed to being single, and she was talking about what she does requires rest and solitude that and a relationship doesn't afford her.
Mm.
Do you think that's true?
I think it depends on who you're with
Well, yeah,
because, you know, and then also too, there's there's different like because in the beginning it's always great. It's always great in the beginning. You're both trying to make each other as happy as possible. And
right,
you're both giving it everything. And then little by little, you know, one starts giving more and one starts giving less, and then that's when you start getting that divide. So
right,
I think depends on where you're at, where you get that peace.
all right, all right.
Because towards the end of mine, it was just, you know, it was so,
Oh,
it
when
was
they go
so,
bad, they go
yeah.
bad. Yeah, it's like fish. Once it goes off, it ain't coming back.
It ain't coming back.
No, I know.
But I do miss that whole being close to someone, having, you know, being able to just, you know, sit on the couch, you put your leg on somebody, kind
Yeah.
of like, hey, you know, and that I mean, stuff like that. I do miss simple little things, a little car ride.
Well, I think what it is that it has whoever for me anyway, because I've been one successful relationship and a bunch of relationships that weren't so successful. And it seems to me that the person has to be your friend, like your partner has to be your friend too. And if you say, "Hey, I just got a deal at Netflix I'm really excited about," that they would be really excited for you to genuinely. And if it was something that was going to get in the way, you go, "Well, I'm going to have to come to the set now." You know what I mean? And it's like it's to be part of it. But sometimes, do you find it easy to share your success with someone who's close?
I used to try to share as much of it as I could, and then for some reason it felt like I was bragging through their eyes. It didn't feel like I was sharing anymore. I felt like, am I coming across like I'm bragging to this person?
Yeah.
Is it sharing? How are they looking at it? Because the good for yous and way to go started. It was less and less and less,
Yeah.
and it was more so like, am I making this person feel bad because I continue to like things started just snowballing where it's like, oh my God, and then this happened today, and then this happened today. And then with success comes like opportunities to meet people, to do different things
Yeah.
and experiences. And you're just like, wow. And the only person I was able to totally just share things with was my mom. And she was never going to look at it like, and I couldn't, there's no way I could brag to my mom. Oh,
Right.
look at you, world traveler. Oi, look at you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Look, can't even pick up a phone to call his, it
Yeah.
was
Oh, you listen,
so,
you don't have to explain that
yeah.
mom thing to me. I totally understand.
But sharing your what you do with people, I found that I had to cut back because I was not making people happy by sharing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, are people happy for me? Not happy? It just
Some are,
it
some aren't.
felt weird.
There's some. I mean, success is a weird thing. Not it's that thing Bette Midler said. Not everybody. One of the most disappointing things about success is finding out that not everybody is happy for you. That
That
actually,
is that is very true.
it's a little different. You, sir, are a joy. I really love talking to you, and whatever you've got going on,
I
I
would tell you, but I don't want to feel bad about it.
no, I think whatever you got going on is
I would tell
cool.
you, but you know how it is.
It's so
Oh God.
I can't tell you. See, I've lapsed into this German dog accent now in order to disguise how I truly feel. It's been great talking to you, man. Continued success. I hope you get that record of the giantest, biggest thing in the world. I think it will be.
I got to see what that next big goal is going to be. But until then, I'm just gonna,
I think
you know,
play a state. Like if you go into a stadium, I think the next thing is to start with a small state. Say like I'm going to play Rhode Island,
oh my
and
God,
it's the whole
it's the
state
whole
the
state.
whole state has to be there. Yeah, and then you can work your way up to Texas or something. But start in Rhode Island, just a small state, and then see how it goes. You're a good man, Gabe.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.